Hi guys, this is Vidas.
And Ausra.
Let's start episode 157 of Ask Vidas and Ausra podcast. This question was sent by Marco and he writes, Hi Vidas, I'm an organ student. I'm trying your method of subdividing a piece in fragments and voices and it's very helpful. My problem is that I find the practice quite stressful mainly for the following reasons. 1. There are sometimes fragments that I cannot play correctly, no matter how many times I repeat it. 2. I easily become anxious when I repeat a fragment, especially for a third time, because if I make a mistake, I have to start again and repeat it at least 3 more times. Do you have any suggestion to make the process less tiresome? Thank you, Marco. Do you think also that people should be so severe when they practice piece of music?
I don't think so. You can hurt your nerve system. If you will be, always anxious and be so stressful about your practice.
Almost you can feel that a person feels guilt, right, of making a mistake.
Yes.
And feeling bad about himself or herself that this mistake was made. Actually, there is a saying that the person who makes the most mistakes will win, actually, in the long run. The person who fails the most will win. You know why, Ausra?
Why?
Because they will try it many more times than the other person.
That's true. And I just thought about him saying that sometimes he makes mistakes and he cannot sort of correct them, and when he gets frustrated because he knows that he has to repeat that spot at least 3 more times. I'm thinking, if there is certain spots that are possible for you to play correctly, it means that you are doing something wrong in that spot. And I would suggest for you to revise those fragments. Maybe, you are playing them too fast.
Or you're making the texture too thick.
Sure, maybe you are using a wrong fingering. Because something is probably not right in those spots. Or maybe you are just too anxious to get a good results. Things like this take time and it's normal.
Remember, in our school there are a lot of students banging the piano as fast as they can, short fragments repeatedly over and over again, like 10 or 20 or 50 times.
And it's funny when we are repeating the same mistakes all over and over again.
Do you know what insanity is? Definition of insanity is?
No, I don't know.
Alfred Einstein said that insanity is doing the same thing over and over and expecting different results. It's the definition of insanity.
Wow.
So, simply you have to change something in order to expect different results. And I'm not meaning Marco or any other our students in this way. I'm just illustrating how extreme this approach can become, right, if you play just too fast or the texture is too thick. For example, if you're not ready to play without mistakes that fragment, maybe you could play just one line, one voice.
Sure, yeah. But you have to to do something about
change.
About that, yes.
You make a mistake and you're not satisfied with that mistake. That's okay, even though feeling angry or frustrated with yourself is not the best feeling, but okay, for now let's say that you're angry. You accept that, you admit that you're angry, and then you think, what can I change about the situation or about my feeling of the situation, right?
Yes.
If I cannot change the situation, why should I become angry, right? If I can change the situation, then maybe I then become less angry about that.
Yes, and no, if some particular spot gives you so much trouble, maybe just let it to rest for a while. Maybe, stop practicing that piece for that day and come back to it later, next day. Or, do a break of 2 days. Because sometimes, you need to give for things time to rest. And then you will go back to them and things will work well. I had that experience many times. Have you had it too?
Obviously, yes. Because what happens at the time when you rest, your mind is bombarded with another set of information, and your old influences and inputs, informational inputs, are no longer the current ones, and you maybe tend to forget what happened bad in your past, right? And when you come back to the old spot when you made mistakes, your fingers might feel like they're looking at the fresh score and forget that this was a difficult spot.
Yes.
So maybe a week or so of playing something else would be beneficial, and then coming back to the old score. Also, do you make a lot of mistakes yourself when you practice? Do you allow yourself to make mistakes when you practice?
Actually, no, because the more mistakes I will make during my practice, the harder it will get, to correct them.
Exactly. So you're doing something differently than a lot of people, right? You're not allowing yourself to make those frequent mistakes.
That's right, so you just have to be really focused when you are practicing.
Even at this level, right, a very far advanced level, we could play a piece, unfamiliar organ piece, and make many mistakes, right away. If we're not careful, if we are playing too fast, if we're playing it with the wrong fingering, we could do that, but we don't allow ourselves. For example, this morning I recorded my sight reading of BWV 552, the E-flat major prelude and fugue by Bach, which will later be used for transcription purposes of fingering and pedaling for the new score. So I had to play it almost, cleanly and without mistakes, so that people who will help to transcribe us this score would understand what I'm doing, right? And the choices that I'm making with fingering would be, more or less correct. Of course, I can edit that later, first draft of the transcription, but I tend to use more or less logical fingering, right?
Yes.
So how do you do that, Osha, at the early stage of your development? If a person doesn't have advanced skill of playing difficult and advanced organ music?
I think the most important thing, at least for me, is to practice with my actually mind first. That if I have sort of fresh head, then I can practice. If I feel tired and I cannot understand what I'm doing, I stop practicing because I just don't like that purely mechanical playing.
So it's a complex phenomenon. You have to understand how the piece is put together. In order to do that, you have to have a good grasp of music theory and harmony and musical analysis and form, right? So you think like the composer thought when he or she created this piece. Moreover, you have to have your own experience at creating music, either in the moment like improvisation, or in a written form like composition, or in the perfect scenario both, right? That would be the ideal situation, of course. So my advice for all the people who are listening to this would be to have a complex education in expanding your entire musical horizons, not only organ playing from score, but as many supplemental things.
Yes, and always listen to what you are doing. That's important too. Because so many people are just playing, whatever, fast and loud.
Do not worry about how fast or how slow you will achieve that results. Do not worry how much there is still to learn, right? And how many years will it take to perfect your art. It doesn't matter at all. What matters is that you perfect your art just 1% a day. 1%. And every 72 days, this percentage will double. And at the end of the year, you will perfect your art, your complex organ art, not only organ playing or sight reading skill, but everything together, put together, you will perfect it 3,800% if you do that, every day. That's a lot. That's enough.
That's a lot.
Okay. So, guys, I think this is the best we can hope to inspire you today. Go ahead and practice and don't be frustrated with your mistakes, or even better, play as slowly or as transparently that you will not make those mistakes at all.
True.
Thank you. We hope this was useful. Please send us more of your questions. We love helping you grow. This was Vidas.
And Usha,
And remember, when you practice,
miracles happen.